Waiting for Yeshivat Torat Shraga. Okay, guys, come have a seat. Okay. We're about to start. You already have many of the parents already tuning in on the live stream. Tonight, Rabbi Yudah will be giving shir on the topic of Tfilat Arvit Rishut. Is Tfilat Arvit an obligation or just a suggested tefillah? The sugya in the Gemara Brachos. The shir will begin at 6:25. You have about 20 minutes to prepare the Marmakomot. There are pages here in the back of the room for those here present. The parents received the source sheets on the WhatsApp group. This year, and the entire series of the Parents on Learning has been sponsored by the Freilich family in memory of Primat bat Avraham, Yaakov ben Moshe, Sima Reza bat Pinchas, Yehuda Aryeh Alter ben Moshe, and Naftali ben Yaakov. We want to thank the Freilich family for sponsoring on this series on a monthly basis. We've got great feedback from the parents of how meaningful this program is for them to be able to learn with their sons, and again for the children to be able to see how much the parents are learning while their kids are away in Israel. It's really nice for them to see that as well. So take advantage of the next 20 minutes preparing the Marmakomas. It's okay if you don't get to the last one, but make sure you get to all the ones before then, because otherwise you'll have trouble following the shir. Okay? Happy learning. Fine.
לא Go. Guys, come a little closer. I don't bite. especially when I'm on live stream. I also want to begin by thanking the Freilich family for sponsoring this very special event. Special shiurim, parents and children learning together. It's an amazing thing. I've been in the shiur for a long time. I don't recall an event like this on such a regular basis. It's such a tremendous thing to watch, to walk around the yeshiva outside, in this room and around, and see parents and children learning together is a very amazing thing. It's just remarkable, and it's a pleasure to be part of it. I chose the topic, as you learned for the last few minutes, the topic of Tfilas Arvis Rishus, question mark. Before we begin, does anybody know why I picked this topic for this week? Anybody know? No pressure. The live stream people can help if you want or not. I don't know how that works exactly. Any clue? Anybody? Why did I pick this topic? It's a random topic. No? I'll even give you a hint. Leave out the Rishus part. Why did I pick the topic of Tfilas Arvis? Anybody know in this room? Or revulsion? Wow, that's very good.
It has to do with this week's parsha.
It's a hint. Very good. It's a hint. It has to do with this parsha. What do you got?
Yaakov established Mara.
Excellent. Rashi quotes in the beginning of this week's parsha, Yaakov Avinu's Masakin Tfilas Arvis. It says, "Vayivga b'makom," that Yaakov met up at the place. And Chazal said that Yaakov was mispal. Yaakov instituted actually the Tfilah of Arvis. Now, before I begin to discuss the sheets and the topic, I wanted to say one thing. There's another reason why I picked this topic, and that is as follows. The Gemara says in Brachos, not on the source sheet, that there are four. The Gemara in Brachos, Lamed Beis and Beis says, "Tanu Rabbanan Arba Tzrichim Chizuk." There are four things that require chizuk, a person to strengthen himself. And Rashi comments in that Gemara. Rashi says, "Sheyischazek Adam b'hem tamid l'chol kocho." A person should constantly exert effort into making those things important in their life. What are the examples? I won't go through all of them, but I'll tell you what they are. The Gemara says they are Torah, U'ma'asiv Tovim, Tefillah, V'derech Eretz. Four things. One of them is Tefillah. Tefillah needs chizuk. A person always has to work on their Tefillah. Everyone can be honest with themselves, and there's no reason not to be honest on a regular Sunday night. Of all the tefillos to get the least attention, the least focus, probably Ma'ariv is that one. It's the end of the day. I'm very tired. Top three for sure. Wilson says correct. I would even say top one for sure. People have this idea. Arvis, it's Arvis. It's Ma'ariv. It's not really that important. And I hope and I pray that by us learning about it for the next few minutes together, and understanding a little bit more deeper what Ma'ariv is about, it'll be mechazik all of us, to be mechazik our Ma'ariv, and to make sure that the way we end our day off with Tfilas Arvis is with a bang, and not just it's another Tefillah. Okay, let's get to the sources together. If you look at the first Gemara, it's a Gemara in the Seches Brachos, a famous Gemara on Daf Chazayin and Beis. The Mishnah says in the beginning of the fourth parak, Tfilas ha'erev ein lo keva, which in that context means that whereas there is a set time delineated in the Mishnah for the other tefillos, Shachar has its time, Mincha has its time, Ma'ariv seems not to have a time. And the Gemara asks, what does that mean, Ein Lakeva? Top line of the page, if it means like a daven the entire night, then it should have said Tfilas halayla, Tfilas erev kol halayla. It's a strange language, Ein Lakeva. It has no fixed something. Ella, what does it mean, Ein Lakeva? Kimanda Amar Tfilas Arvis Rishus. Says the Gemara, Ein Lakeva means that it's assuming like the opinion that says that Ma'ariv, Tfilas Arvis is a Rishus. What does a Rishus mean? What does Rishus mean? Optional. Thank you, Tani. Optional. So Ma'ariv is optional. Ein Lakeva means it's not fixed. Like the other tefillos that are fixed, they're mandatory. They're a chova. And Ma'ariv, the Gemara sounds like it's saying Ma'ariv is Rishus. Don't leave now. Please don't leave now. Says the Gemara, the Amar V'Yidam Shmuel, Tfilas Arvis, and Gamliel says it's a chova, and the Yeshua says it's a Rishus. Those that know Gemara Brachos know there's a famous debate that ensued in the Gemara between Gamliel and Yeshua. It went into a whole big, unbelievable, famous, agadic passage in the Gemara, which we won't go into now. But the bottom line is, the Gemara says over here, at the end of this first source, Halacha K'div Yom Rishus. That's not Halacha. The Gemara paskins that Ma'ariv is a Rishus. Yes? Yeah, that's the process of how the Gemara works it through. Exactly, very good. Oh, Very nice. So you guys saw the sources. Let's help me out over here. Is Ma'ariv really a Rishus? Is it really optional? How do we understand the idea that Ma'ariv is a Rishus? What does that mean? 8 o'clock comes tonight and I decide, you know what? Okay, 8 o'clock. I'm not really feeling it so much. I'm not coming to Ma'ariv. Am I okay? Is that allowed? Is that cool? Is that Beseder? So the answer is no. What does Arvis Rishus mean? Help me out over here, friends. Anybody see any sources that help us out? Does it mean it's really optional? Or does it mean something else? Something else. Good. So I'm going to run through because of the time constraint. I'm going to run through a little bit the highlights of what we're trying to go through. The first, if you look at the second source, I'll just read the answer. I don't have time to Tosos this question. Tosos on the spot in one daf earlier in Brachos asks a question which he is bothered by, and as his answer, as part of his answer, he explains what Tfilas Arvis Rishus means. Says Tosos, the second source underlined, the Yesh Lomar. How did I mean Tfilas Arvis Rishus? That which we say that Ma'ariv is a Rishus? No. It doesn't mean it's a Rishus. Hainu legabi mitzvah acheres v'hi overes. That means, as compared to another mitzvah, if I have a toss-up to choose two mitzvahs, one mitzvah is a passing mitzvah. If I don't do it right now, I won't have a chance to do it. And the other is Ma'ariv, and it's one or the other, then which one do I pick? The other. Why? Because compared to Ma'ariv, which is a Rishus, that mitzvah is considered a Chova. It's not really a Rishus. Meaning, tonight at 8 o'clock, there's no mitzvah that's contending with Ma'ariv, so of course I have to have a Ma'ariv. It's not really a Rishus in the classic sense. When I have supper tonight, what's Rishus mean usually? I go down to supper and they serve the Chadar Ochel, delicious food always, obviously, in Torat Shraga. I have Rishus. I could pick from this main or from that main. I could pick from this side dish or that side dish. What are you laughing at? Abosa. Yeah, that's Rishus. This is not a Rishus. Says Tosos, it's optional compared to if I have a mitzvah overes, I pick the mitzvah overes over this mitzvah. So far so good. That's Tosos' opinion. The third source, a famous comment of the Rif. The Rif is found in the back of Gemara Brachos, and he has an even sharper twist, if you will, on the idea that Arvis is a Rishus. Says the Rif in the bottom of source number 3, Miu, Hani Michi Echi Dilo Tzoli, maybe that's if you didn't daven at all. Avalecha the Tzoli Tfilas Arvis, if a person already has begun to daven Ma'ariv, as we all have, Kvar Shavya Alayu Chova. That means to say that, so sorry, maybe it was a Rishus at one time, maybe back in the history, maybe in its institution, it was established as a Rishus, but bottom line is Shavyu Alayu Chova. That means to say, and what is it right now? It's a bona fide obligation, it's a chiyuv. There's almost no difference, maybe there is no difference between Shachris, Mincha, and Ma'ariv. Shachris is a chiyuv, Mincha is a chiyuv, and Arbit. Ma'ariv is also a chiyuv, and therefore, there's no difference whatsoever. So if we would answer our question on top of the sheet, Tfilas Arvis Rishus question mark, what will the answer to that question mark be? The answer is no, it's not a Rishus. Bottom line is, it's a chova. We accept it upon ourselves as a chova. I'll give you a mashal. I look around the shul, I see many pairs of tzitzis or tzitzit. Technically, do you have to wear tzitzis right now? Forget the fact that it's nighttime. Let's say I wasn't wearing a four-corner garment. Am I obligated to tzitzis? No. The Gemara says that tzitzis is not an obligation on the gavra, on the person, it's an obligation on the beged. If I'm not wearing a four-cornered garment, I'm not obligated to wear tzitzis. But you know what? Everyone's wearing tzitzis. Why? Shavu alai chova, because we accept it upon ourselves as an obligation, and therefore, Baruch Hashem, we all wear tzitzis. It's a great mitzvah to do. It's shakul, it's equal to all 613 mitzvahs. In a similar vein, we have over here by Ma'ariv that even though maybe it was instituted as a rishus, but nowadays it's considered a chova. So what I want to discuss with you for the next few minutes is the following question. Assuming that it is a chova, assuming that it's not a rishus, assuming that we accept it upon ourselves as a chova, as an obligation, are there any underpinnings, are there any hints to the fact that Ma'ariv is a rishus? Could someone tell me anything about Ma'ariv that's different, that reminds us of the fact that maybe even though we accept it upon ourselves as a chova, but there really is some element and component of rishus in it. Yes, sir.
It connects back to the korbanot back in the time.
Very nice.
Where the fats and limbs.
Excellent. That's very nice. That's very good. That's many of the commentaries point out. The reason why it was established as a rishus is because Shacharit was established for the korban tamid shel Shachar. Mincha tamid shel Arbayim. Ma'ariv was corresponding to the hektar chalav me'avar, which was not an obligation. Excellent, and therefore, according to many, that's why it was established or originally made as a rishus. But I'm asking a bit of a different question. I want to know, is there anything that we have in our practice, halacha l'maisa, that shows us, reminds us of the fact that Arvis is Rishus. Yes, my friend.
You have all night, same Marv?
Have all night same Ma'ariv? That's a nice question. I don't have time to discuss that right now. You really should have Ma'ariv by Chatzos. If you didn't, maybe you could. That's a nice suggestion. Anybody else? What? Excellent. Look at source number 4 for a second. Source number 4 is a very quick source in the Shulchan Aruch. Ein shliach tzibur chozer at tefillas arvis. You may have noticed that Ma'ariv is a bit shorter than the other tefillos. Why is that? Because there's no chazar sashatz. Why not? You ever wonder about that? Why is there no repetition of the Shemona Esrei at Ma'ariv? Says the Mishnah Berurah in source number 4 on the bottom. She'ein tefillas arvis chova rak mitzvah. The reason is because it's not the same level of chova as the other tefillos. Why do we have chazar sashatz by the other ones? Because they're a real obligation. That's how they were established. And if someone came do it themselves, we need a chazan to be motzi them. But Arvis, which was a rishus, so we still get a little bit of a sense and the smell of its rishus component in the fact that there is no chazar sashatz when it comes to Ma'ariv. There's another very fascinating idea I want to discuss with you for a second about the idea that Ma'ariv, in its essence, is really established as a rishus. If you turn over the page for a second, so we can at least turn the page over one time. The Gemara says, we'll skip for a second. The Gemara says in source number 8. Rabbi Yochanan says in the Gemara, Brachos and Havdalah and Mabez, Ezeu ben olam haba. Who is a ben olam haba? Ze somech geula letfila shel arvis. This refers to a person who is somech geula letfila of arvis. And what does that mean? What's somech geula letfila? What's the principle? What's the concept of being somech geula letfila? I don't have time to hear all your wonderful answers, so I'll just tell you what it means right now. We know that before we say Shemona Esrei, at Shachos and Ma'ariv, we precede our Shemona Esrei with the bracha of Gal Yisrael. That's the end of a bracha. That's the bracha of Geula. In the morning it's V'yatzav v'nacham v'kayim, etc., which ends Baruch Atah Hashem Gal Yisrael. And at Ma'ariv, we also end up with the bracha of Baruch Atah Hashem Gal Yisrael, which really should lead straight into Ma'ariv. The Gemara Baruch says we also say Ashkivenu as an extension of the Geula. Geula means redemption. We speak about the redemption, and then we say Shemona Esrei. The Gemara says in its source number 8, who is a ben olam haba? A person that goes ahead and is somech geula tefillah shel arvis. It means that Ma'ariv he also says the bracha of Gal Yisrael, and then says Shemona Esrei. What's the idea behind? Why is it such a big deal to be somech geula tefillah at all? What's the idea behind that? So if you look at Rashi, in source number 8, I don't have time to see it. Rashi says so beautifully. He says like this, he quotes the Yerushalmi, he says like this, a person needs something. So he goes to knock on someone's door. And then he runs away. Does he really need it? Does he need it? If he knocks and then runs away, does he need it? No. Says Rashi, you know what we do? We come to Hashem, we praise Hashem. Hashem, you are so good to us. You took us out of Mitzrayim, everything was incredible. And then afterwards we ask for our needs. Says the Yerushalmi, that's somech geula. First we mention Hashem's kindness to us, and then we have Shemona Esrei, then we have Tefillah after that. That's the Gemara in the Maseches Brachos. Before we get to our grand finale in 1 minute, 2 minutes, I want to just tell you a beautiful halacha that you should know. In the morning, this past Thursday and Friday was Rosh Chodesh. What do you have to say in Shemona Esrei and Rosh Chodesh? Ya'aleh v'yavo. Did you ever hear someone in shul announce at Shacharis, Ya'aleh v'yavo? Did you ever hear that? If you did, they were making a mistake. You shouldn't have heard that. Because you can't interrupt. You can't interrupt Geula with Tefillah. Gal Yisrael. So what do people do? They bang. Bang once, bang twice. That's the halacha when it comes to Shacharis. When it comes to Ma'ariv, the halacha is that if it is Ma'ariv, and it's Rosh Chodesh like it was this past Wednesday night and Thursday night, before Ma'ariv, before Shemona Esrei, you can say Ya'aleh v'yavo. It's allowed. Why? Not only that, Ya'aleh v'yavo maybe you want to say is D'oraisa, Rosh Chodesh is a D'oraisa. Says the Mishnah Berurah, I don't have time to see this inside, says the Mishnah Berurah in source number 6, says the Mishnah Berurah that even in a few weeks it's going to be Chanukah. The first night of Chanukah, what do you say in Chanukah and Shemona Esrei? Al Anisim. Are you allowed to say that also? The answer is you're allowed to say Al Anisim. What's the difference between Shachris and Mincha? Shachris and Ma'ariv. How come at Shachris you are not allowed to interrupt by saying Ya'aleh v'yavo, but at Ma'ariv you are? What's the answer? Who could guess? Because Tfilas Arvis is a Rishus. Says the Mishnah Berurah in the Shara Tzion in source number 7, since it was established as a Rishus, as important as Smichas Gula Tefillah is in general, but by Ma'ariv, we're more lenient and we allow you to interrupt and even say Ya'alav Yavo or Alanisim at Ma'ariv. I want to close with you with a gorgeous, gorgeous source. A gorgeous source that hopefully will help us, Ritz Hashem, with our Ma'ariv. The last source on the page, source number 9. Please look inside if you have the source in front of you. This is a gem. It's a pearl. I'm giving you a pearl. I'm giving you a gift. It's on the house. My greatest pleasure to share it with you. It's a Ben Yehoyada. Here's the actual text in front of me, in front of you. He's a commentary on Maseches Brachos. Usually comments on Agadic parts of the Gemara. And he asks a very interesting question. The Gemara says, who's a Ben Olam Haba? Who is a person who is meritorious of Olam Haba? A person who is Somech Gula Tefillah of Arvis, of Ma'ariv. Asks the Ben Yehoyada, what's so special about Ma'ariv? Why is that more important than being Somech Gula Tefillah when it comes to Shacharis? After all, Shacharis is even more, as we said, more strict. So how come this idea of Somech Gula Tefillah is so important by Ma'ariv that gives you the crown of being called a person who's a Ben Olam Haba? That's the question which he's dealing with. If you look inside, he says so beautifully. Third line down, nearly b'siyata d'shmaya. Very nice idea. He says, the Yadua, it's well known. Tefillah Shachar is connected by its Rishon. The first Shachar corresponds to the first base of Mikdash, which was in the merit of Avram Avinu. Tefillah Mincha corresponds to Yitzchak. And Tefillah Arvis is connected to the third base of Mikdash, which will be built in Meir B'Yameinu, which is the schus of Yaakov Avinu. Allah Hashem. Says the Ben Yehoyada in the middle of the source, L'chein. Therefore, Hasomech Gula Tefillah Shal Arvis, a person that does juxtapose the Gal Yisrael of Ma'ariv to Shmona Esrei, More, what's he showing? Shu Boteach Begula Asida. He's showing that he trusts that there will be a future redemption. The Yesh Lo Emunah Bazeh. And he believes in the idea that just as Hashem showed us wonders as we left Mitzrayim, so too we will see wonders in the future. And he sees the Golus is so long, he sees the exile that keeps dragging on and on and on. And he says, when is this going to end? Eno Misyayish. He doesn't despair. Like those fools, says the Ben Yehoyada, that despair is too long. That's why his reward is even greater than a person that's Somech Gula Tefillah at Shacharis. Why? Because Shacharis is baking on something that happened when? In the past. Avram Avinu, the first base of the Mikdash. But Arvis is about the future. Arvis is about the Gula HaSida. Arvis is about what's going to be down the road. If a person shows his trust in Hashem that there's going to be a redemption, that there's going to be a Gula, that person already is a Ben Olam Haba. That's the idea, says the Ben Yehoyada, why the Gemara says Arvis is so special. So we began by saying the Gemara says 4 things need chizuk, and one of them is Ma'ariv. Ma'ariv is the special tefillah of the Golus. Ma'ariv is the time where, even though it's a very, very long Golus, and there are such difficult times, unfortunately, which we're living in, challenges abroad, challenges at home in Eretz Yisrael, unfortunately, such difficulty. But we trust and pray that it's all for a reason. It's all for a purpose. The same way, when a woman goes through labor, and there's tremendous pains, and as the pain intensifies and intensifies, that's a sign that the labor is about to come to its fruition, and Be'ezrat Hashem, the baby is going to be born. So too, all the pain and suffering and the challenges that we've gone through throughout this entire long Galus are for a reason. They're causing the birth of Mashiach, they're causing the Gula to happen. And if we tap into that and we recognize that's what Ma'ariv is about, so we would never, even if Ma'ariv was established as a Rishus, but whoa, what a chance, what an opportunity. I could be a Ben Olam Haba. I could be a person who puts his faith in Hashem down the road for the future and knows that there's going to be a Gula. That's what Ma'ariv represents. We should be zocheh through the learning of Tefillas Arvis and through the Tefillah and the Emunah that we have in the Gula, Be'ezrat Hashem, to witness speedily in our days the Gula. Shalem Abmir V'Yameinu. Have a wonderful night. Everybody, thank you for joining.